Hi guys. Um, this video today is going to be one of those kind of sensitive videos where I have to make disclaimers and so forth. So let me go ahead and just do that off top. Um, the disclaimer for this video is that, first of all, I know that it is a very sensitive topic and subject. The video is not at all meant to shame, embarrass, ridicule, talk bad about, speak bad about, make anyone feel bad at all in any community, heterosexual or LGBTQIA plus community. Um, Hopefully that suffices. Um, this video is going to be another video about the trans community. I have made I think a couple of videos now on that topic. Um, and with that being the case, once again, just real quickly, I'm not making this video to, like I said, shame, embarrass, talk bad about, or anything like that, anyone in the heterosexual or LGBTQIA plus community. It is sort of almost a video of awareness. Now, I don't know how many trans viewers I have. Um, I welcome all on this channel, but I don't know exactly how many I have or how many. It really doesn't matter how many I may get. I don't know, but the idea is to be sensitive to all groups. But let me just go ahead and begin the video. I have seen um as of lately, I have been seeing a couple of videos about people talking about transgender women being literally killed. Not even so much an attack or whatever. I mean, they are being unalive. And so, um, with that being the case, I wanted to talk about that somewhat. Um, Now, I know from, I know I don't know as much because, first of all, I'm not in that community. I'm a heterosexual woman. So there are some things that I'm not completely aware of. I do know that um, there are protections that um, need to be in place for the LGBTQIA plus the whole community from my understanding, because there are attacks on that community and those who embrace the transgender aspect of it. Now, I don't speak, and I'm not necessarily speaking in this particular video for transgender men. First of all, because I'm not a man, so I can't really, and I don't have as much knowledge on what happens on the transgender men side. Not even that I'm not willing to learn. It's just that I don't know a whole lot about that part of it. So I'm going to keep this video more toward transgender women because I am a woman, and so the things that would ultimately begin to affect them affects me as well as a woman. So that's the aspect that I'm going to talk about right now. So, with that being the case, I have seen um, just recently, and forgive me for shuffling the papers, but I wrote down some notes because I do want to stay on topic. I didn't want to go, off topic on this. But I have been seeing as of late about the attacks and so forth, and I've seen in the past, not too many because I haven't really delved into that side of it, but I've seen also other news articles where there are attacks on transgender women and things like that. So, um, this recent one that I saw, um, it's kind of like the other ones. The supposed straight males are having one in one instance it was an actual whole sex act. The other one, I believe it was like the beginning of kissing and heavy petting and things like that. And the straight male, and I'll explain while I'm putting it in quotations in a minute. But the straight male, apparently, from what I understand, I think they cut the trans person's throat. Um, Now, I don't remember if that trans woman, I don't think that trans woman passed away. I think there was just some severe injuries. The latest one that I heard, there was an actual death. There was an actual shooting of the transgender woman, and a death occurred. Um, so, you know, the things that I wrote down to keep myself on topic, I almost I kind of I didn't really write them in any particular order, but I almost think I probably need to start with the bottom ones I wrote and maybe try to go up to the top because I really think that it matters how I begin this video. Um, Let me first say, and I'll make this, I don't know, maybe again another part of a small disclaimer. The things that I'm going to speak about in this video and the things that I um that I have heard and know and have actually looked at, um that's just kind of what it is. These are things that I've heard. These are a lot of the things that I even talk about on my channel, on this channel, is like personal experience, things that I've read, heard, looked into, whatever. And usually I pretty much reveal those sources. These are just things that anybody can find. Um, but there was a video done, and it may be a two part, but I don't remember. But there was a video that was done by another content creator on here. And I would give the name. I apologize, but I don't think I'm going to give the name of that person because I don't really follow them anymore, and I don't. There's a lot of their content that I really don't agree with, mostly because of them and their personality and how they relate to stuff. Like I don't agree with it. I don't like it. And so I'm not going to reveal that particular source. But what I will say is that that person actually did a really thorough video talking to, in this instance, gay men. And I believe because there was a lot of people calling in about that. I believe it could have been as well some transgender women. But they were talking about the hookups, the dating. I've heard trans women themselves talk about dating men, dating straight men in particularly, and how a lot of it is not so much them literally wanting to be with the trans woman or whatever, but it's just like a fetish, and it's just like they're just wanting a kinky a kink off. You know what I'm saying? Um, they're curious about the sex with the trans woman or what have you. And but the part that I want to cover is the fact that I'm hearing that it's not so much about, like I said, wanting to be in an actual relationship or so forth with the trans woman. And I'm not saying that's the case all the time, of course not. But these were the kinks and the fetishes and things like that. And as far as the gay sex thing, the reason that I bring that up is because a lot of times, sometimes, before the trans woman actually makes the whole jump to being a woman or whatever, there is gay sex or whatever involved, and there is that that type of lifestyle many times before making that transition. So, with that being the case and the background, um, there is, from what I understand and have heard, a lot of kind of risque type behavior. I'm hearing of meetings in parks. I've heard of meetings in gas stations, truck stops, um, these what I've heard of as glory holes, and you all can look that up. I'm not even going to go into that. Type activities and so forth going on. And from what I understand, a lot of times straight men who engage in that type of behavior, and a lot of times it's secretive behavior, a lot of times it's at night, a lot of times, like I said, I've heard of just hookups like in parks and stuff, in the dark and in bushes and in places where, a regular woman necessarily would not be. Now, um, and that is because, from my understanding, men in general are just not always so careful with their sex or their sex habits or where they go or how they. A lot of times, it really is just an instance of just trying to get off, just trying to get off real quick. Um, and this is a lot of times behavior that a straight heterosexual female is not necessarily willing to engage in. And those in that community or trans community or what have you would be a lot more willing to do that type of behavior. And I think my personal, my own personal thought is that it's still that male type behavior, even though um, the person is maybe in the trans community. A lot of times the mindset still doesn't change, and so they still operate and behave like gay men. And as I said, this is things that I've heard, documentaries I've listened to, and um, even coming from listening to activities of gay men themselves, like, giving these testimonies and so forth of how the sex goes and how it's, a lot of times just quick and easy and just a quick hookup. And I think a lot of so-called straight men aren't finding that behavior as easy with a heterosexual woman, so they take that route. And also, as I said, it's also um kind of that mindset of still just like being in, that gay type activity. So if that's the case, I really think that there's a lot of misconceptions once some of these men make the transition into the transgender woman or lifestyle. I think, and I've heard that as well. I've heard a lot of the misconception. A lot of them think they still, like I said, hold that mindset of men. And so they have a lot of preconceived notions on women and straight women sex and so forth. And a lot of them feel sex is a lot easier for women. They feel like women have a lot of different protections and so forth, and there's a bit of more respect, I think, sometimes that they feel that women have that they don't as men. And so, yeah, those are the preconceived notions. But I think a reality happens, or actually should be happening, especially in cases of attacks and unalivings, because I think they need to look up the femicide rates, because women get unalived by men very, very often. And a lot of times those encounters lead to unalivings of women. And so I think a lot of times these transgender women come with those kind of preconceived notions and don't realize really how unsafe it really is for us. Like, just because we're women, like, we don't get doors open for us, and people just being wonderful and kind and always coming to our rescue. Like, that's not, I think that's a real preconceived notion that is not true. um Sex being available, yes, sex is available, but that's not because we're women. It's because men are just always horny as hell and always willing to get some. Literally and simply, that's what it is. I don't know of a woman, unless it's a very secure man, maybe a man that is already married or something like that, very committed to his wife. But yeah, I can't think of a time where I could, probably even me as a woman, just go up and approach a man, ask him, do he want to have sex, or does he want to, get oral, or just whatever. And he's gonna tell me no. Like that, but that ain't because I'm a woman, like I'm saying. It's because men just ain't gonna turn down sex. Just literally and truly, like that's just what it is. But I think a lot of the transgenders and probably gay men look at it. I'm gonna say transgender. I'm gonna leave it at that. I really think they have these preconceived notions that women live this type of certain lifestyle that is just really not true. And I've heard men say those type things. And that's why I say I think it's more accredited to just that male brain out, male brain mindset. Because even as a transgender, you can get all of it done. You can get the whole surgery done. There's still a mindset that still comes with you being a biological born male. And that's just the truth of the matter. So I think that causes transgender women to fall into a category of still doing very unsafe male minded things, even though they, are now trans women. That puts them in very unsafe situations. The last one I heard, it was supposed to be a meeting. Like, this was a meeting like before day in the morning, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And I don't remember where it was, but it was somewhere kind of in a very risque type situation where a natural born woman more than likely would not put herself in. And apparently, from what was said, this is all hearsay, the transgender person apparently approached this straight male to ask him did he want to have oral sex performed on him, and the gay male, the black male, supposedly straight, um, said yeah, and the act was performed, and it was supposed to be that the straight male was like, oh well, I was feeling a little funny, I was feeling a little suspicious that maybe it wasn't a woman, and so they shot her. They shot the trans woman. And I have heard of stories like this. I have heard of this. Well, I didn't know. They didn't tell me what they were. And I think that was the case in the other one that I brought up, where the person's neck was cut, throat slashed, is because that supposedly straight male was saying they didn't know that it was a trans. So let me say it like this. I don't have proof because I'm not in those situations. So I don't have proof whether or not the trans person told them up front, they already knew and they're just using that as an excuse, or the trans person, actually did lie and didn't tell I don't know. I don't know any of that. In a lot of these situations, I am looking at the trans women or whatever, and I am seeing very, very male, very, very much male features. And it's one of those things to where I don't see how you could know. You know what I'm saying? Now, mind you, there are some very petite, very beautiful, very small featured transgender women who, yeah, like, man, it would be very, very hard to tell, even for me as a woman. Not too many now. I'm just being honest, not too many, because you can tell. And a lot of women can tell. But men seem to not be able to tell. They have absolutely no now, that this person got big, broad shoulders. They got hands as big as a gorilla. And this is not an insult on anybody in trans community. I'm just speaking generally. Uh, Big, broad shoulders, big manly face, and these men are literally like, oh, well, I thought it was a woman. I didn't know. At the end of the day, it almost comes down to a thing of their word against theirs, and it's just going to have to go to court, and the jury or whatever is just going to have to decide who they believe. Now, I will say this: I don't think that there's going to be an excuse enough that a jury or whatever is going to say, oh, okay, well, they were justified in killing or unaliving this person because they really didn't know. I don't know if that is an acceptable defense. I really don't, because at the end of the day, a person's life is taken. So I don't think that's going to be an excuse. But for the fact that these so called straight men keep using that as an excuse, it causes me to say to transgender women, I think you need to be a lot more careful. I think unless it is a trans sex worker, that you need to not put yourself in risque situations where things like that, and I'm not saying that it's an excuse for that to happen, but for them, these straight males to even say, oh, well, that's my excuse, that's why I did it. You see what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you're just not really going to find a lot of, unless they are sex workers, you're just not really going to find a lot of straight women hanging out in parks at night or hanging out at gas stations or truck stops or things like that at night offering sex work unless they are a sex worker. You understand what I'm saying? Um, so yeah, that's the thing. It's also a thing that I don't get in my mind as a straight heterosexual woman. From mind you, this is where I'm coming from. I know that men in general, just from dealing with men in general, men don't have to have any kind of, as a matter of fact, most of them don't have an emotional connection to you to have sex. Most of them don't have to have this feeling, this romantic feeling, this, oh, I want to be with her to have sex. Men at any time, any place, usually without any feeling, what will have sex. Period. That's just the way that is. That they just need to get one off, and they will get it anytime, any place, anywhere, any whatever. I know that as a woman. Um, with that being the case, straight heterosexual women have to be very careful. We also have this thing of straight men entering into gay sex or sex with a trans woman, which I get is not necessarily the same, especially if they've had the whole full surgery. Okay. But there are these so-called straight men who are engaging in oral sex or even anal sex with other men, let's say, and still calling themselves straight. That part right there, I'm not, I don't understand that, because in my straight heterosexual mind, and anybody can please correct me, help me, write in the comments a better way for me to understand, because I'm willing. I don't understand at that point how they are still considered straight men. I know that there are straight men, a lot of them, who want to engage in certain behaviors, even with a woman that would be considered gay or what have you. And they say, oh, well, no, it's not gay because you're a woman. I'm doing it with you as a woman, so it's not gay. I in my straight heterosexual, hold on. In my straight heterosexual female mind, I don't understand that either. Maybe it's my age. Maybe it's where I come from. Maybe, but like I said, I'm willing to learn. If anybody want to help me, put it in the comments, whatever. I'm willing. I'm not taking shots at anyone. Um, but I don't understand how you can, even with a woman, engage in certain things that would be considered um, gay or what, anything anal, and not not be gay activity. That's just like I'm saying. That's just me. Call me old fashioned, call me whatever. I don't understand it, and that's not even a shot at anyone. But it's very rampant. Like, it's out here. That is out there. There's a woman. I don't even know how I got to this, but there was a woman on TikTok. She was a straight woman. Her ethnicity doesn't matter, so I'm not even gonna go into that. And she was literally giving, with the man there. Her man was there. I don't know if he was her husband or just her man, but he was there in the bed. And she was literally talking about and giving information on, talking about, ladies, while you're down there doing that, a blowjob or whatever. While you're down there doing that, just slip your tongue down there, or just slip your finger in there, and oh, he gonna love it. He gonna go crazy like that. Just, man, he ain't gonna never leave you if you do that. And I'm thinking to myself, like, damn, so they're giving lessons, like, right here on TikTok. Like, it's, and the man was laughing and hee-heeing and kikiing about it and so forth. And, he was just talking about it. And she was, They were on the bed, like I say, and they were fully clothed and all this, but like she was talking about stuff and just kind of messing with him and tickling him and everything, and he was just laughing at it, and yes, stop that, don't be doing that on we on camera or whatever. And then he was saying, he was saying something. What did I just want to bring up? He was saying something about, yeah, it is good. It do feel good when she do that and blah blah blah. And I'm just like, man, this my mind is blown. My mind is completely blown that y'all are here talking about this on TikTok like this. But I do hear a lot of that behavior. Like I heard Gabrielle Union talked about it, and probably other women I've heard that talk about this and doing this or whatever to your man, and it not being gay or it being okay or whatever. I have a different mindset and view, but I know that it's a very popular thing, especially right now. It's a big thing, eating it like groceries and the whole thing. Like I said, me personally, I'm not saying good, bad, whatever. Me personally, I feel a way about that. I have a whole different mindset about any of that, and it's not something me as personally that I um engage in at all, and ever will engage in at all. That is also not to say that I'm judging anybody on what they do. But what people do in their bedroom, y'all go ahead and do it. But for me, it's not behavior that I am going to, as a straight heterosexual woman, engage in with a man who is calling himself also a straight heterosexual man. That's just, I might lose. I might lose a potential partner with that. I don't know. If I do, it's okay. It's okay because I don't want to feel pressured into that or feel pressured into doing something that I don't participate in. So that's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother thing. um, that's going on out here today. But I really think, let's get back to some of these preconceived notions that trans women, I think, still carry from the male brain. These so-called protections that women have, and women, if something's happening bad to a woman, people jump and run to their defense. We get doors opened and just get treated so wonderfully and so forth. That's a real big misconception. That's a real, I mean, I get plenty doors slammed in my face as, as a straight woman by men. Like that just ain't happening out here like that. You know what I'm saying? People running to women's defense. We've heard all over social media many instances where women get attacked and no one comes to their aid or help. Like that's not just an automatic woman thing. I think that that's a real misconception. I saw a video where there was this trans white guy. And, ethnicity doesn't matter, but or skin color doesn't matter. But it was a white trans female, and there were some teenagers who were ridiculing and just in my opinion, they really weren't ridiculing, but it wasn't a whole video either. But they were asking like questions and stuff to that person, and that person felt abused and felt like they were being targeted. So they were in front of this particular shop, and after everything was over, they were being ridiculed by a bunch of teens, which, I mean, hey, they teenagers. Not that that's an excuse, but still. Um, so they went into the store to ask store, the employee, why didn't you help me? Like you saw what was going on. You came outside and you saw it. Why didn't you come to my defense? Why didn't you say anything? You saw me being abused or whatever that they felt they were being done to them, and you didn't do anything. Why not? Why didn't you protect me? Now the person that they were talking to was another straight heterosexual woman who was saying, like, first of all, what you want me to do? I'm a woman. What do you want me to do? You know what I'm saying? um But I think, like I say, those misconceptions that women get all this help and protection, and somebody sees a woman getting even surrounded by a bunch of teenagers, like, we don't necessarily get that help either. Like, literally, we don't get that help. So there's many attacks that are on straight heterosexual women all the time, but we don't get no protection. So yeah, that's a misconception that probably needs to stop. And the trans women need to kind of be aware that just because we're women, yeah, we don't get them protections. Like, we literally have to protect ourselves. We literally walk around in danger so often. We have to literally keep our heads on swivels, carry protection with us and all this, because it's not. Like, I don't know where that thought process came from, but that may be some 1920s, 30s something, where maybe people came to those women's defense, quicker. But today, no, you don't get that as a woman. We really don't. We are in danger all the time from men. And just because we're getting abused, hurt, whatever, people ain't gonna automatically just run to our defense. Like, they'll pull out a phone. You might get 911 call for you, maybe, and maybe not. The way this world is more than likely not. You're going to just get hurt, assaulted, whatever, abused, and if you can't protect yourself, or if that person don't have enough mercy to try to stop before they do unalive you or hurt you to some extent that you possibly can't even recover from, you're just at their mercy. So yeah, that's a misconception that needs to stop amongst transgenders, because it ain't like that. It's really not. Um, I'm just kind of trying to go on trying to look at things that maybe I have not talked about that I wanted to talk about in this video. Um, yeah. I think I really covered everything I wanted to talk about in this video. So as I said, I'm just going to tell transgender women, you're going to be very, very careful. You got to be very, very careful, because a lot of men, and I would think that transgender women would kind of know this just from being born biologically male. Many of these men are just trying to get one off, like, period. They just need a warm hole. And I don't mean to be, I mean, we're adults here on this channel. I don't approve any of my videos to go for anyone under 18 years old. So just being grown adults, I mean, we know that a man will get one off anywhere, anytime, in the dark. What, like, that's the kind of stuff that's going on out here. And so you got to be careful in what type of situations you put yourself in. And you can't assume that women, biologically born straight women, get any kind of different special treatment. Like, we really don't. We really don't. And I think maybe that is something, I'm just going to say it's something that transgender women are going to have to keep in mind, that we don't get wonderful treatment, doors open, protections, and all that. We don't get that. We really don't. As women, we got to do for ourselves, protect ourselves, watch where we go, watch who we're with, watch how we like, and it's going to be the same for you. It's going to be the same for you. So, I'm gonna cut the video off. This video literally was just, I said all that I said to help transgender women realize that you just gonna have to be careful. Like, you really just got to be careful. I mean, look up femicide rates. Hopefully that will help you to understand. Many times men are a the threat to women. Many times. in many different situations. That is not to down. That is not to say anything bad about men. It's a fact. Women are just not going around strong arming other women and putting other women's lives at risk. Now, do women fight? Do women get catty? Do women do things for each other? Hell yeah, all the time. But when it comes to femicide rates and uh unaliving rates and stuff like that, it's usually males against females. That's just the way it is. Take that however you want it. It's just that. So you guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Please hit all notifications so that you know when I upload new videos. Please leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about anything I've said in this video. Once again, this video is hopefully going to be a help. Hopefully going to be a help. Let me say this one last thing. I don't think I brought that up. I think there's a lot of, like I said, straight, call themselves straight men who engage in these type of activities, either with trans women or gay men who don't want that information to get out. Or after the act is done, they feel bad, they feel guilty, they feel like they've done something wrong. And I think where that is where in their minds, this behavior of either unaliving that person or severely hurting that person comes in because of their guilt and because of what they've done and because of this fear of, oh man, I must be gay now or just whatever. I mean, if you're participating in the act, I know you just want to get one off or whatever. But I mean, I don't even know what to say because there's a lot of men who are not having sex, period. Um, Women are decentering men. Women are, like they're just not engaging in the type of behavior that once was for men to get sex more often. I think it does have a lot to do with women decentering men. I think it does have a lot of women reacting to the type of behavior that we hear men talking about. Don't like women, don't protect women, don't want a woman, just want to go, stick a thing in a woman and get one off. And basically, at the end of the day, F you. So women are realizing that. Women are seeing that. Women are taking heed to that. And so it's leaving a lot of men out here sexless and having a really, really hard time having sex. So they are taking alternative routes. Not that they maybe wouldn't have went that way anyway. I don't know. Probably would have. Because from what I'm also hearing is that there are a lot of so-called, I heard this woman say this. Let me bring this up. I heard this woman say this, that she was talking to a man who told her that a lot of another reason why a lot of these men aren't considering themselves gay, even though they're engaging in sexual relationships with men or whatever, is that they still consider themselves straight because they're not considering themselves gay, homosexual, down low, whatever, because they just like sex. You see what I'm saying? Like they're not trying to be gay or whatever. They just want to get it off. You see what I'm saying? They're just trying to get one off. They just want to have sex. And a lot of gay men or what have you are more into that quick sex, risque sex, anytime, anywhere. Just call them up. They'll, oh yeah, well, let's do it. And once again, that is not a shot or whatever at the LGBTQIA plus community. It is just a fact that many gay men or those who engage in that type of behavior are more willing and easy to do it than a woman. Just kind of is what it is. So, I wanted to throw that out there because like I said, in my understanding, I don't understand how you can engage in, sex, any kind of sex with a man as a man, and then say you're not gay or down low or whatever. Like, I don't understand the logic. I think it's more of a protective mechanism to say that, oh, well, yeah, he could suck my thing or whatever. Or they can, it'll be oral sex or whatever. But I'm still a man. I still like women. I be with women, but they can suck my thing. Like, that don't equate to me. It don't equate to me. I remember also. I'm gonna throw this out here. I remember also years ago, my cousin and I walked into this conversation, so I don't even know how it started or whatever. But she was talking to, at that time, her baby daddy, because I think she ultimately married him. But she, they were having some type of debate, and she was calling him, talking about, you, well, you gay, you gay, you gay. And she was asking other people, like, ain't that gay? Ain't that gay if he do that? And I think they were asking me too. That's how I got in the conversation. But what it was is that he was saying, he kept on saying, I'm not gay, I'm a gay maker. I'm not gay, I'm a gay maker. And so what he was saying was that, I don't know if he did or not, but he was saying that he could have sex with a dude and make him gay. Like, if I can make him gay, but that don't mean I'm gay. Like, and we were all saying, especially my cousin, I still remember her face. She was like, well, then you gay. Like, that make you gay. Like, you talking about you not gay, you a gay maker. You having sex with a man to make him gay. Like, that's what he was literally saying. Like, yeah, like it's, I'm telling you, I don't get it. I don't get it. That was the conversation between my cousin and her baby daddy. And this was, like I say, this was, whoo, I don't even know if my son was born at that time. So this was many years. Many years. So yeah. But I bring that up to point out the mindset of a lot of so-called straight men. Like, there are men considering themselves straight males who will engage in homosexual, but it's clearly homosexual activity, and be like, well, but I did it to him. He didn't do it to me. If he do it to me, then I'm gay. But if I do it to him, I'm not. I don't get it. I don't get it. I think it's a self-preservation thing. Like, I really do. It's some type of sick whatever, to say, sick type of mindset to be like, oh, well, I ain't really gay. Yeah, I did that, but I ain't really gay. Because they did it to, or I did it to them, or they did. I don't get it, y'all. I don't get it. Call me old fashioned, whatever, like I'm saying. I don't understand that mindset. So, you guys, as I said, hopefully this video will help somebody. And you guys hit the subscribe button and all those wonderful buttons to help me out. I would love for you to be here, be a part of my channel. Uh, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and until the next video, I see you next time.